Hi there, welcome to Maker Chats, a show hosted by me, Oliver Barry, and my fellow maker, John Ed. The maker movement is rapidly growing and we want to spread the word. We will chat with interesting designers, builders, and crafters each week.
Hi, I'm John Ed. If you're interested in making or are a maker, this is the show for you. Subscribe to the link and stay tuned in.
If you are a maker and you want to chat with us, don't hesitate. I'd love to hear about your project or your business and interview you. Contact us on the link in the description. Now let's get on with today's chat. How's it, everybody? Welcome back to Maker Chats. I've got somebody else lined up over here, but before we get there, I want to introduce my co-host and mate. His name is John. Johnny, take it away.
How's it? How's it? I'm John. I'm going to be the co-host today, and I look forward to having a chat with you guys. Finding out what's happening.
Lots of chats together going forward, and chats with interesting people like Sahara. So she's pretty interesting. I've just had a chat with her now before we started recording, and she seems like she's very interesting. She's got a lot on her mind and a lot to talk about. So Sahara, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Sahara. I am 18 as of the 31st of March. I live just outside of Knysna in a small kind of rural area called Renendal on a plot with my whole family. And I'm very passionate about our environment and creating change for our planet and all that kind of good stuff. So that's what I'm currently running, a couple of different projects in the area and getting stuck in with as many interesting things that I can.
Awesome.
Great. Yana, I actually saw, I'm on your website at the moment. You've got an initiative at the moment, 2020 and 2020.
I am sewing 2020 reusable cloth shopping bags to hand out for free in 2020.
So they're going to be reusable bags?
Yes. So basically, this is an initiative that kind of started about 2 years ago. I started sort of, growing up, I was always very aware of the environment and all the stuff happening in the environment. But as I got older and doing my own research, I started to realize that plastic was one of the massive problems in the world. And I started going sort of on my own journey to go plastic free and eliminate plastic from my life. And in doing so, became very aware of the amount of plastic that people were using around me. And so I thought, surely I would be able to do something that would help other people around me also reduce their use of plastic. So I looked around and I realized, there is, nowadays, this was like back then, there wasn't as many options, but now, like Pick and Pay and stuff, they have like their recycled PET bags that are reusable that you can buy as well.
Yeah.
But back then, there wasn't a whole lot of choice. But I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to start sewing my own reusable cloth shopping bags. And this was shortly after the 2017 fires that hit Knysna. After the fires, after the fires, a lot of material was donated to Knysna to make curtains and clothes and bed covers and all that kind of stuff. And so there was a lot of fabric left over that was just kind of sitting there doing nothing. And so this lady approached me. She somehow heard that I was going to be doing this thing with the bags. And she said, well, I have all this material that I just don't know what to do with. Will you take it? And so I took it, and that's kind of where it began. And so now I basically take all donated fabric, all fabric that people don't want to use anymore. It's like, old cloth advertising banners from businesses and guest houses, old curtains, old bed sheets, linens, cut-offs lying in your cupboard, all that kind of stuff. I take that, and it's all donated to me by the local community. And then I've partnered with the Epilepsy SA branch here in Knysna, and the women from the Skills and Development Group are helping me to sew the bags, because obviously I cannot sew 2,000.
You can't sew everything yourself. So I think getting involved with a community like that is the best way to do it.
100%.
And that's incredible.
It's
Thank
very
you. And
nice.
then,
Sure.
and then like the whole kind of part of it is the message that goes along with the bags is that, you know, we need to be taking action and reducing our waste. And then the big thing is that I hand out the bags for free.
Okay,
Because
that's
Yeah,
great.
that's very,
I
yeah.
believe, you know, it's like, it's a shopping bag. Anybody should be able to have a shopping bag without having to, you know, pay for it and without having to use plastic. So that's kind of the whole little project in a nutshell.
Yeah, and okay,
It's very interesting.
I see our local, all about, you know, most of the local guys over here, and like you said, Pick and Pay, Checkers, Woolworths, you can actually go in and you buy those bags. They're not very expensive. They are reusable, but they're also not. You can't use them forever. Obviously, you know they're gonna tear and
Yes.
break and stuff like that. But just to see like that sort of thing, I mean, that's pretty cool. Now you obviously just taking it to the next level, and that's amazing. So,
Thank you.
listen, how did you actually? How did you actually? I mean, yes, okay, cool. We got the introduction of how you, you know, where you are located and how you got involved. But what actually sparked the whole thing? What really got you interested in say, hey, listen, this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah, what inspired you? Yeah.
What inspired you?
What inspired me? I think, well, that's a tricky one because I think that it's sort of been something that has just been there the whole time in my background growing up, you know, always surrounded by nature, surrounded by the planet. I was always in the garden. I was always, you know, doing stuff outside. And that's kind of where my love for the planet came from.
Okay.
And from there,
Yeah.
you know, learning about the different things that were affecting our planet and damaging it and waste and pollution and our effects on the planet. It was just something that was like, I have to do something about this. I can't just sit back and carry on with life, you know?
Yeah, so that's awesome. Very nice. And I see you can also donate funds to this cause as well.
Yes, so obviously I need to, you know, pay the women to sew the bags, and I'm not earning anything out of the campaign since I'm not selling the bags. So I started kind of a crowdfunding campaign to raise the funds to cover the 2020 bags. And so it's been quite amazing, actually. I've received, you know, funds from the community, like donations from individuals. And then I've also received amazing sponsorship from the Rotary Club here in Neisner, from Plastics SA, and also Petco, which is like one of the main recycling, like, overarching companies for PET bottles. So it's been quite amazing. I went from having this little idea and suddenly it's like taking shape, and I'm like, wow, how did this even happen?
Yeah, but that's normally how it happens. You'll start with something, and the next thing it just takes off and
gains momentum.
It gains momentum, and you don't really expect it, and the next thing you're involved with all of these people doing all sorts of things. No, it's brilliant.
So, how many bags have you made so far?
So far, well, since the beginning of the project or the beginning of this year?
Well, since the beginning of the year, yeah.
I'm not sure because I'm actually not sure. That's actually a tough one because in the beginning it was just me sewing, and I was just sewing the bags as I went, and my grandma would help me, and my grandma's friend would help me sometimes, but I was pretty much doing it by myself and just handing them out here and there. And then when I decided that I was like, okay, 2020, it's the big year. I'm going to sew 2020 bags and like set a big goal. That's when I got help. So I'm not sure how many bags I've sewn since the beginning of the project.
But how many? Okay, so then how many have you sewed this year?
This year, gosh, I actually have to think because I actually haven't counted. Because all the bags are currently stored at the epilepsy center. I don't have enough storage space in my bedroom. I think we could maybe estimate about 100 bags.
Oh, that's not bad going.
I mean, we're we're not close to our goal yet, but we only started production in February. So it's only really been a month. That production has been going because, of course, now everything has been shut down. But it will continue afterwards.
We are taking a short break to call on all makers. Maker Mania is coming to Cape Town later this year, and the call to makers is now open. Makers of all ages are welcome. Maker Mania is a 2-day public event that will take place in the Cape Town Science Centre. For more information, please go to makermania.co.za.
Can you explain to me like some of the services that you offer and what you do? Yeah.
So a big part of the campaign with the bag, which is the initiative with the bags, is education, because I feel, there's no point in trying to give people bags if they don't really understand why they need to be using reusable ones instead of plastic ones. So a big part of the campaign is the messaging and the education. So I like to go out and give talks. I give educational talks at schools, at different clubs in the area, at any business or organization that feels like they want me to come and talk. I go and do educational talks on plastic and stuff there, and then I also sort of hold events quite regularly, doing educational talks and informational talks on a variety of topics, because plastic is one thing, but then you can talk about like our clothing and the fast fashion industry and how destructive and wasteful that industry is, and there's so many different levels that you can take it. So I like to very much take information, kind of break it down and give it to people in a way that's easy for them to digest. And then I also do the bag handouts, so I go and hand out the bags for free. So like at a school or wherever, if somebody wants me to come and say, okay, we've got 60 people, we'd like you to come and hand out bags, I do that as well. And I like to kind of combine it with a bit of an educational talk to give it a bit of background, and also explain about the campaign. And then another thing that is, I think, on the end there, which is something that I'm kind of still in the process of working towards, is having kind of like workshops and doing workshops. Because another thing I'm extremely, extremely passionate about is gardening, food growing, permaculture, and all that kind of stuff. I was actually supposed to go and do my permaculture design course in March, but due to lockdown and everything, it was cancelled. So unfortunately couldn't do that, but I'll be going probably in September if everything goes well.
Okay.
So great. That's another thing that I'm very passionate about. And so I want to, do workshops on different things like food growing, or, making your own products at home, or I'm also vegan and eat only plant-based. So I would love to even do, plant-based eating workshops, and how you can, cook in a way that's good for you and the planet. So a whole array of
I see you even got a couple of recipes on your blog. They look quite interesting.
I love sharing recipes. It's like I love being in the kitchen and doing stuff. It's like one of my favorite little hobbies on the side when I'm not busy doing other stuff.
Oh,
that's very nice.
Awesome. You actually the things that you're saying, I think maybe I was a little bit early. But I also, with a friend of mine, we actually did a permaculture course. I built a massive permaculture garden in his father's. It was actually his father's office's back garden.
Wow!
And we had planted. It was. I mean, we never watered it because we didn't have to. We had a whole composting site. We dug the furrows and the trenches in such a way where the plants at the top and the plants at the bottom were getting the same amount of water.
Yes.
And we had all sorts of things like, I mean, we even had amaranth growing in there, and we were picking the amaranth as a grain, and then we were making bread out of it, because I'm also a qualified chef. So,
oh wow, okay, that's cool.
So I was doing all sorts of stuff like this, and with the whole veganism thing, like I was also a vegan for about a year, but I think it was a little bit too difficult in South Africa at that time, because there was just not enough going on there, and there was not enough support and all sorts of stuff like that. But I see now, because one of my biggest things is cheese. Cheese, like I can't. If you put a piece of cheese in front of me, I'm going to grab that.
I find that anybody I talk to, that is like their main problem is cheese.
Cheese.
The funny thing is that for me, I was like, I never liked cheese. So it was like actually really easy. And I think what made it easier for me as well, transitioning to a plant-based diet, was that I grew up vegetarian.
Okay.
So it's actually
a lot easier.
Yeah, I've never eaten meat before. So, all I had to do was kind of leave out all the dairy and the eggs, which was fine because I never really liked cheese or milk or eggs actually. So it was actually for me quite easy.
Sherbet. So now, how long have you been a vegan for?
Gosh, I think like 3 or 4 years now.
Oh, sherbet.
Okay, not bad.
But I mean, I think it's quite amazing to see how now there's a lot more, like, I think restaurants and stuff cater a lot more easily to vegans and vegetarians.
Yes. And 100%, yeah.
There is here in small little Niles now, like pretty much every single cafe and coffee shop has, a milk alternative or has something vegan on their menu. So it's awesome. I mean, we even have, we had at one stage, we had actually a vegan restaurant. They've kind of branched out a little bit to do other things as well to kind of cater to everybody. But I mean, it's quite amazing to see.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Like, when I was doing it, I never had any of that support. We even if you go to your local supermarket now, there's so many more vegan options. So for you to
the culture's really taken off now.
It has,
100%.
And it's bitten in here. But we haven't. Obviously, like I said, I was maybe a little bit premature. And so have you got any? Have you had any ideas to help with this whole COVID-19 thing?
Gosh, I'm going to be honest and say that I would not know where to begin. I mean, it's pretty hectic, and I think that in terms, I think one thing I've definitely noticed is that I think with this whole thing, there's definitely a lot more single-use items being used in terms of like people using gloves, wearing gloves and throwing them away, wet wipes and throwing them away.
Face masks.
Face masks, plastic bags and throwing them away. And so I think one thing that I would say, which I personally feel like makes the most sense, is, have your own stuff, have your own shopping bags, have your own whatever it is, a cloth that you wipe down everything with, and then just wash it when you get home. Because, at the end of the day, you're using all these plastic things, but I mean, that's still going to get, the virus on it. If you use plastic gloves and you touch something and then you go into the car with those plastic gloves on.
Look, that's a whole other thing. I mean, there's been...
It can live on surfaces and stuff for a couple of days.
But I mean, it's hectic. I don't know where you would actually start in terms of
that's a completely whole other topic as well, because there's been so many studies and so many, I don't know, you don't even know who to believe anymore, because this like says that this one says that you must wear gloves, this one says you mustn't wear gloves because of this research and because of that research. At the end of the day, there's not enough gloves and there's not enough face masks. I don't wear gloves, I don't wear a face mask. All I know is, I wash my hands. I've got a little bit of a sanitizer. Yes. Every time I've gone to the shop, they've got sanitizing wipes, and they've got a guy that sprays your hands when you go in. There's a guy that sprays your hands when you go out. I'm okay. I think I'll be okay.
No, 100%. And I think, just like be responsible. And like, I mean, yesterday we went and did our first town run since the beginning of lockdown. And it was a very weird experience, Harry, like driving down the main road and it's like dead. There's nobody there.
It's absolutely bizarre.
It is. And then standing, outside of like fruit and veg in your little like 2-meter line, like separation.
So you guys are
and
still
like
doing
everybody,
that
and nobody looks at each other. Like if you make eye contact, you're gonna get the virus or something. I don't know, but it was definitely a weird experience.
I tell you what.
I think that,
okay, sorry, finish first.
No, I was just going to say that, like you were saying, there's people sanitizing your hands as you come in, as you come out. And then, like, when we got home, I was like, okay, take off all the clothes, put them in the washing machine, have a shower. And I mean, I was thinking, Mom, I don't think we've ever been cleaner. I think we're probably the
thing.
most sanitized we've ever been.
That's the thing. But anyway, listen, Sahara, if anybody wants to get in touch with you and reach out and
Yes.
give you a hand, how would they get hold of you?
So the best way to do this would be, you could either go onto my website and you could look under contact and you'll find my email address,
Okay.
saharanaomi@gmail.com. Or I think my number is on there as well.
Okay.
But I would say that probably the easiest and best way is to contact me on social media. I am very active on Instagram and Facebook. It's just at Sahara Thagunna, so that's Sahara, like the desert, and then Thagunna.
Okay, great.
All right.
Then I think what you must do then is just send me all that information, and then we'll post it at the bottom. We'll put links in below, and then anybody who wants to get hold of you can click in over there and take it from there. And then hopefully you get hundreds of phone calls.
and thousands of donations.
Yeah,
yes,
all that too.
That would be awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Man.
You got anything else you want to add, Sahara?
I think, just stay calm during this time. It shall pass. Do your best. And the biggest thing is just start looking at the world around you and just start thinking a little bit differently about your regular day-to-day, whether you reach for that plastic bag, maybe you take a double take and you think, oh, maybe I should bring my own bags today. So just changing those mindsets.
Amazing. Words of wisdom.
Wise words there, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Words of wisdom. All right, well, that was it. Thanks everybody for joining in and listening to us ramble on about all sorts of happenings. And we'll check you on the next one. Johnny?
Yes, yeah, thanks, man. It's been good. We'll see you soon.
Cool. Sahara, we'll keep in touch and we'll chat again.
Yes.
Maybe we can do a little bit of a follow-up later on and see how the bags are going on.
Yes, post-lockdown,
Yeah, post-lockdown, obviously, post-lockdown. Now we'll give you a few months to catch up.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Okay, great.
Great stuff. Cheers, Star.
Okay, cheers,
Bye.
guys. Have a good one, eh? Thank you for supporting our show. If you'd like to get more exposure for your business, please have a look at our sponsorship options. Also, for a small donation of 100 Rand, we will list links to your business on our website. Thanks again for supporting Maker Chats. Please follow us on YouTube and on our social media channels. Find the details and the links in the description. Cheers until next time.